The best EDM tunes in 1 hour mix.
Oh, yeah, we're going to do this in 1 hour. I don't know if we're going to get everybody on this show because there's a lot of people that were involved in this. As you know, we are doing We Are the World, and the reason this came to me is I've done it on other shows before, but my granddaughter and I watched it the other day. She's 14, and so this was kind of an education for her. We were watching the Netflix special on how they created it, and apparently I was singing to every song, so she says, and I don't sing well. But anyway, this was put on after, of course, Band-Aid started in the UK and did that wonderful session with all of the artists over on that side of the pond, and then they decided to hear Quincy Jones was instrumental, Lionel Richie, Michael Jackson, let's see, Ken Gregan enlisted a lot of the artists. That's a music agent, and of course Harry Belafonte is an activist, and this was all, so it was so, I'm sure everybody's seen it by now. It's been out for years and years, but you know, it was helping African relief and starving children in Africa. And what a great song. What a great memory. And I remember it being put out for Christmas. So I always play it at Christmas. But I thought, you know what? There's so many great stars. What a great Oldie show. So I don't know if we're going to get through everybody. I should probably stop yakking and start playing some great music. We just heard We Are the World. That was the title song. And of course, this person was instrumental in his part. He spent more time. Now, you guys know the story of this, of course. It was done after the American Music Awards. So talk about staying up all night. There's one thing to go to a party and stay up a little bit later, but to stay up until the next day, actually singing and getting this done was great. Here's Michael Jackson with Rock With You. I don't know if this next guy actually planned this or not. Lionel Richie, of course, one of his big songs was All Night Long, and apparently that's exactly what they did when they were making We Are the World. There we go, a little Lionel Richie All Night Long. And this next guy, he got a little mistaken, but he decided to do it anyway. And here he goes, signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. You asked Stevie Wonder to come in, and he is there. Oh, yeah.
All the way from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and today.
You know, I think one of the favorite parts, you know you're a star when everybody else sings your song. And I don't know, you know when you get tired and you get kind of silly and you're going, I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, this happened to them, of course, at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. It got totally exhausted. Everybody had been up the whole day before preparing, being at the American Music Awards, all that, and then went right there. In fact, some of them left early. Nope, no after parties. We're going straight to there. Harry Belafonte was one of those. Of course, he was instrumental in kind of getting this whole thing started and making them aware of the issues that were going on in Africa. And there was one point where everybody was so tired, they just broke out into song, singing his famous song, the Banana Boat Song. Daylight come and me one more. Oh, yeah, there you go. The lovely voice of Harry Belafonte and Deo. Banana Boat Song, as it's known. Hey, this song was broken up into sections and people, and I remember the guy saying he had everybody's stations where they were going to stand based on their voice. Some guy went through every single artist that was going to be there and placed their voice for the arrangement. This thing is very cool. So the first section was, of course, Lionel Richie, Stevie Wonder, Paul Simon, Kenny Rogers, James Ingram, Tina Turner, and Billy Joel. I wonder if Paul Simon was there, if I didn't mention that. I wonder if he was down by the schoolyard. I know Julio was. He had to be there. I mean, where else would you do this? They probably said, come on, get away from the schoolyard. We need you to come and sing the song. Who doesn't like a little Paul Simon right there? Me and Julio down by the schoolyard. That's a great one for sure. This guy was instrumental on this record. Little Kenny Rogers, the gambler.
On a warm summer's eve.
It's called Everybody Loves You Now.
Yeah. Here we go. Little Billy Joel was involved with that. Of course, everybody loves him now for sure. Here's a live version. Oh, yeah. So that was such a great one. That was some good music there for sure. So the first verse also included James Ingram. And, of course, he was happy to do this just once. All right, there you go. Little James Ingram. And, of course, Dionne Warwick was there with That's What Friends Are For. This is one of my my favorites. The whole show, though, were the parts. Of course, Willie and Waylon come together, right? They come together no matter what they do. But Waylon was having trouble with figuring out what they were doing and why they were doing it and all that kind of stuff. And he got frustrated and he just walked out. He didn't even wait for someone to say goodbye or fix it or anything. He just took off. And I'm sure when he did that, his friend Willie was just singing, "Well, here he goes on the road again." Oh, Willie Nelson. He was so good in that movie. On the road again. Well, Waylon was anyway. So that rolled out the first course. Lionel Richie, Stevie Wonder, Paul Simon, Kenny Rogers, James Ingram, Tina Turner, and Billy Joel sing the first verse. Then Michael Jackson and Diana Ross come in and do the chorus thing. And then, of course, we have Dionne Warwick, Willie Nelson, Al Jarreau doing the second verse. And then it got a little rocky after that because we got some rock people going on. There was, let's see, we had some little Bruce Springsteen there, which was extremely, extremely important to be on there. He was right into doing this one. And of course, who else could argue with Born in the U.S.? A little Kenny Loggins for you right there. That's right. He's all right. He's all right. We had a good one there for sure. So it was Bruce Springsteen, Kenny Loggins, Steve Perry, and Daryl Hall all sang the second verse. And then the bridge came. And one of my favorites, and I got to say, Huey Lewis had to be probably the star of this whole thing. Just the background comments, and he was just really sweating doing this. Here's one of my favorites from Huey. This one's called Little Heart of Rock and Roll. Oh, there we go. A little Cyndi Lauper for sure with Girls Just Wanna Have Fun. She was singing, of course, with Huey Lewis and Kim Carnes on Singing the Bridge. And then it concludes with Bob Dylan and Ray Charles. And before we get into our last song of the session here, I just want to mention some of the people in the chorus. Dan Aykroyd, who I still can't figure out why he was there. I know Dan Aykroyd, he's Canadian. I don't know him personally, but I didn't know he was, I knew he was a singer from the Blues Brothers, but I just didn't see him as part of that crowd, but he was there. So Dan Aykroyd, Harry Belafonte, Lindsey Buckingham, Mario Capolina, Johnny Cola, Sheila E., Bob Geldof, Bill Gibson, Chris Hayes, Sean Hopper, Jackie Jackson, LaToya Jackson, Marlon Jackson, Randy Jackson, Tito Jackson, Waylon Jennings, for a moment, Bette Midler, John Oates, Jeffrey Osborne, Anita Pointer, June Pointer, Ruth Pointer, and Smokey Robinson. All had great stuff. They were all in the background. Talk about getting a ton of people just to sing background. You couldn't get better background singers. But the last one here, we're going to go out with one of my favorites. This guy was instrumental with Stevie Wonder as well. This is Ray Charles and Georgia on My Mind. Thanks for listening to the Oldie Show, my friends. We really appreciate it. Hope you have a good one.